Hello. So, let's see if this starts working. How are you all doing? How is life? Now, this is not a regular scheduled stream. It really isn't. Boom. You just saw some of my stream account details. I don't think anything had much. Anyway. So. What is going on? Why am I doing this? Honestly, because it's been fun. It has really been fun getting this all sorted. Create own, shared designs. Let's start campaign. Let's go with empty slot 1. And I've been having fun trying to work out what the issues are, what the differences are. And so I thought I'd give it another go, and I thought I'd show myself working out some of the issues for a bit. So I've not opened up my regular campaign because I started because frankly I was already managing to muck that up a bit, I think, judging from what I've learnt this week in trying out the gameplay. Judging from what I've worked out in the changes in this new edition of the game. Fun times. I really wish they'd fix the scenario whereby you lose your campaign when they do a major upgrade, an update. It's annoying. It's not impossible to deal with, but it's annoying. Hello, Mr. Koldrak. He was a good admiral. Disturbingly successful general for most of his time. The thing is, not perhaps as good at politics as he needed to be for the role he ended up finding himself in. No. Well, he tried. I love the way it's flowing through the years beforehand. It always does this. It sort of builds up the years and going, yes, we're building up this year. That's what it's got going on and down there. The years sort of flashing up. I'd love it if you did start earlier. Let's say if you started in 1860 and you could start off with HMS Warrior and that sort of stuff. Yeah, that'd be quite cool. God knows how quickly I'd manage to push the advances. Or what I'd focus on starting off in 1860. Would be interesting. It would be very interesting. Anyway, why have I picked Britain? Because, honestly, I know Britain best. Why have I picked Britain? Because I know what I should be seeing. Hello, Garsman14. And I know what I shouldn't be seeing, if that makes sense. So, I'm hoping this works. And the sound alerts are working. Yeah, it's fun. I've got to get this slightly better set up, so when I have the things come up, it doesn't keep flashing between the things. But yeah, we're getting there. I'll do well. I think I'm knocking something over. Potentially. Potentially. How are you doing today, Garsman14? But as said at the start of this video, I'm basically trying to experiment with the gameplay and the campaign, so I don't muck up the Austrian campaign literally because I am, rather than I'm just how the gameplay has now been adjusted to try and make it as more historically accurate, because I think that's what they've done. I think they've tried to make it slightly more historically accurate. Okay, let's go to ship design. Let's do new design. I want a battleship. Repulse will do as a name. 19 knots will do. That's all the best I can give it, so that's what I will give it. Many bulkheads. Draft. Down. Beam up. 13,500. Thank you. So we want compound armor. We do want some protection. That's all we've got. Right then. Let's go for some funnels. They're plus 10. Plus 7. Engine efficiency 0. That's fun. So that's the one limit you're going to allow me. That's what I'm going to go. We'll go for the 12-inch because it's the biggest I can get. An either end. And secondary guns. Casemate guns, 6-inch, definitely. Basically the question is how many... The question is not how many 6-inch can I fit, but the question is 6-inch. Our secondary guns 3-inch because I don't like the idea of annoying things known as destroyers and torpedo boats ganging up on me. Torpedo launchers, do I want to fit some of them? Never say no, so some torpedo launchers in the broadside. And maybe one on the stern might be a good idea. Right then, so now I've got 700 tons to play with. I want that to be enhanced. I want increased shells. I get heavy shells? It does help. Let's go for a standard ratio and an increased ratio. That's now overweight. Yay. Well, we'll sort that one out. We'll sort out the weight. I can't do anything to them, anything to them. That can go down to 9 for starters. And that can go down to 9 as well. Right then, pitch 33%, roll 33%, foreweight 5.4%. Okay. Foredeck, you're going down. Conning tower, you're going down. You have to go down to about 10 inches. Oh, hello. Hello, programmers. Hello, everyone. Yes, I am sort of building... This is Sovereign style, but it's more HMS Renown style, honestly, I'm going for. I will admit that it's more Renown. In style. Definitely more Renown in style. And that will have to do for the moment. It's not particularly as stable as I'd like. Maybe if I take it down to 18 knots. Hey, that's got us to that in terms of efficiency, which is better. The pitch is still at 31. Standard crew quarters. Yeah, that'll do. And I have got more weight to play with. I now got another 200 tons to play with. Okay. That gets me to 30%. Still not great for the old stability thing. And that is a factor in its aiming. I do know that's a factor in its aiming. But that's exactly 35%. It's an 18 knot ship though. It's, yeah. Let's save this. Let's exit constructor. Let's order about 12 of them. Build ship. Build. Select port. Scarpa flow for 2. Gibraltar for 2. Singapore for 2, because I like to control the world and I like to be mean about it. And where else should I put another 2? I could put them in Eastern India, Madras. Or Western India, Western India. Bombay it is. Let's go for ship design again. Anything else I can order that I like the idea of. Torpedo cruiser. I like the idea of a torpedo cruiser. I like it having compound armor. I like it having standard cruise. I like it having a speed of about 21 knots if I can give it to it. And that's good. Right then, so we got pitch and roll sorted, we got the engine sorted. Let's go for main guns. They're not going to fit anywhere. Torpedoes. Lots of them. 3-inch guns. And main guns. 4-inch guns. That should do. We've still got 400 tons left. We want increased torpedoes. Enhance on those. Increase shells. Standard will do. Standard ratio. Increased ratio. Those are all fine. Now let's go to main deck. And we are just going to be as naughty as we can on the main deck and the main belt. So that's gone up to that's the maximum weight we can stick in it. And yeah, maximum weight. These are not going to be very stable ships. It does seem to be they've affected the stability. They've really upped the stability calculations, and it is affecting things. Let's save design. Exit. Government 14. I had a laugh yesterday as I was playing Warhammer and overheard a person playing a World War II saying how Turbits in real life was better than our and Vanguard. Oh! Why? Why would they even try and say such things? Why? It just... There are some things in this world which are just absolutely provable to not be true. And Tirpitz being better than Vanguard is an easy disprovement. That you can do that without your eyes closed. Vanguard is fairly easy to make the case for, but the trouble is it has 15-inch guns, and so it looks sort of similar-ish, and people can... But Vanguard, yeah, tech-wise and construction-wise, is a lot more efficient and better design than Tirpitz. Oh, good lord. The thing is, it's not that the Germans are bad or lesser or anything, it's just that their maritime infrastructure was so crippled after the fricking agreements. Right, that was the whole point. The British did all the sort of the post World War I treaties, the Versailles Treaty, etc., was to cripple the Germans. Treaties work if you structure them so nastily enough. I would say boilers, and I would say cruiser design, and rangefinders are going to be my three focuses for the moment. I would say finances wise, I want to build that up. Transport capacity, I want to push that up to the maximum. Tech budget, I want to push that up to the maximum. Crew training, I want to push that up to the maximum. So that's all on 100%. Research there, fleet. Let's start the campaign. And let's do some ship design, build some more light cruisers. I should have enough for one. Build that one of those. I'm not going to select port. Cancel. Let's go to finances. Leave that up there. Take that down. And that down. The guy who was playing them said maybe Vanguard, but never Iowa. There are some interesting people in this world, I will admit, and some of them have some really interesting ideas about life. Lord Nelson and Marlborough, move ships, because they are way over the tonnage limit for that area. Valletta, Limassol, none of those are any better. Okay, I think I'm going to have to move you two out of there and across to somewhere that can actually take you. I need roughly 24,000 tons of capacity. No, roughly 30,000 tons of capacity, because they are 13,000 tons each, aren't they? None of them have that much weight capacity. Historically, Hamilton did. St. John's. Cape Town certainly did. Bombay does. I think what I'll do is I'll move you two back up to Plymouth. And I've got two in Scapa Flow, haven't I? They're fine. Let's go to ship design, build ship, cancel, build ship. That should be done. Magmas. Paul, I'm up to 1917 and have my battleships and battlecruisers with a pitches of 12% plus minus 2%, but still have a rollover 35%. But massive amount of armor rollover and weapons of 50. It is fun. I'm still trying to figure out why anyone. These days, you have to be really, really buried to still believe that sort of stuff about Tirpitz and Bismarck, because they were the best the Germans could build. But the trouble is they are a reflection of the German political system at the time and the German infrastructure issues. That should put enough cruisers around the world that I have presence everywhere I need it. So I'm boosting the transport capacity as much as I can, because that's going to grow the economy fastest. Once I have got everything else up, then things will be different. So, the big problem that's come up with the gameplay so far has been stability issues with all the ships, especially after the latest update, and the way that impacts on their targeting capacity. So basically I do need someone to pick a fight with me, but the trouble is I've not got any ships for them to pick a fight with at the moment, which is why I'm rushing through the light cruisers. So I've got the core battleships, so I'm not disturbingly weak for my size, but Yeah, it's fun. Who am I planning to have a war with this one? Probably everyone. Knowing me, probably everyone. I would love to say not everyone, but I do know me. I do know what I'm like. But this is basically me getting the gameplay sorted, so ideally I want to have a fight with the French, because I'll have plenty of ships to fight them with. Fleet. I'm building a lot of Brisbane class, and they should be turning up all over the place. That's the plan. They should turn up in 1s and 2s pretty much everywhere, because it does its automatic distribution thing. I'm not going to build any more of the Repulse class. As you... well, I could build some. How many can I actually afford to build? If I build 4 of them, and I select their ports, and I basically add them to all the places I have ships at the moment. Plymouth is where do I want in Southern England. That should keep me safe for a while, in terms of my state of capabilities. I should have built my cruisers very soon. I can't afford -4 naval prestige at the moment. So I'm going to go with that. I'm building a lot of ships for Portugal at the moment. Portugal really likes what I'm building. The fact that I'm their only ally and they're surrounded by Spain probably has nothing to do with it. Although I did have an interesting video comment today, which was defending the Spanish dreadnought design and going, you know, they're not that bad. I'm sort of going, they're really not that good. I think the UK has gained more sections. I do find it interesting that France is divided up into northern, southern, and western France. And the UK is divided up into southern England, eastern England, northeast England, northwestern England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Ireland. It's a case of, yeah, France has got 3 integral territories. We've got, like, 4, 6, 8. It does, you know, help. Does help. That's almost under 44. We currently feel, yeah. We did 154,000 and 99,000 tons. We're just about to increase it all by 5,000 tons. Yeah. Research, rangefinders, internal protections are all done. Anything else we want to improve? We want to get better shells. And honestly, I want that. But we're working on that. And that should do it. And boilers, I can get boilers in 11 months. Oh, that'd be good. Some better boilers. I think I'm going to need to do something about funds. Look, the point they didn't seem to be happy with me saying was because I said they came into service and immediately made Dreadnought feel good because as long as they were in service, there was always something that she could beat, guaranteed. So she was always had some potential use. Let's go to finances. Down to 70%. Once I'm finished building ships, things should be better. But no, this is an interesting game. It gets more interesting as time goes on. It really does. But it's also, they are trying to include more complexity. And there was an interesting discussion the other day about aircraft in chat in my comments about whether or not they would include aircraft carriers. And my view is it would just make the maps too massive for working out. But also there was people going, well, you know, there's the technological differentials of adding in aircraft carriers. I'd also say there's a whole level of extra complication in terms of aircraft design development you have to add in to really make it viable. So it's not like submarines they have here. Although potentially you would have, you know, aircraft development being it. Singapore has 2 battleships and 2 light cruisers in it. Plus, I do know another battleship is coming. So, yeah, that should make Singapore an interesting place for anyone going through who hasn't got up ambition. Fleet. We've got a fairly large number of light cruisers now involved. Where are they based in? We've got battle cruisers there. Brisbane, Ratoga, Limassol. 2 in Singapore. Obviously, they decided Singapore needed strengthening. Dublin, Port of Spain, and Rarotonga in South Pacific. Always nice to have ships out there. If I need to have a presence elsewhere, then I get it. No. Let's check through the research, see what we've got going on. Got shells. Got that. Boilers will be getting the special attention. I'm going to work on armor quality as well. Repulse upgrades are coming. I never like to fight a battle with my first generation battleships. They're just terrible design. I need to refit and upgrade them all first. Everyone likes my little ships. I love it. Everyone likes my little ships. My little cruisers are selling like hotcakes. Look at you, Russian light cruisers going around me. You're building you're trying to build a massive fleet. It's like what? One battleship, one cruiser, 9 light cruisers, and 2 torpedo boats in there. Interesting. And I'm commissioning, like, quite a lot of things. There's another one being commissioned in Singapore? They are really worried about Singapore for some reason. Now, basically, Singapore has got a fairly decent-sized fleet in it now. It's going to have 3 light cruisers and 3 battleships in there shortly. That's a decent fleet. Meg, I'm picking us. Why do you start from scratch with ships rather than build initial fleet and then expand on that? Because I like my ship designs better, and because the AI sometimes does ships which are frankly weird and would never have been built. And I don't like to have those things dug around in my fleet. So it makes it slightly more difficult for me, but I find I get to have the slightly more historically accurate ships, which I enjoy. But they're saying that the Spanish did have a really interesting design they wanted to be made in the UK, but one stopped them from getting them, and the Civil War killed the idea. It was. It was based on the Queen Elizabeth class. Let's start going to the politics, because now I need to start playing this. Oh, Germany, do I want to improve relations with you? Hi, Britain. Who have I got bad relations with? Germany, Russia, and Austria. I want to improve... and China. I don't really care about China. I think I will improve relations with Japan. Actually, hang on, well, how are my relations with America? I don't want to war with them just about yet. I like to have a bigger fleet before I start having a war with America. They're at 20. Let's improve relations a bit. Just a tad, and then I'll get on to the rest of the world. There are lots of countries, if you think about it, which had unlucky times with their politics in terms of their procurement. Lots of countries which had trouble there, with timing. Timing is a constant problem for quite a few countries in especially the 1920s, but also in the 1900s in terms of their procurement. And that can be seen, and is a problem sort of to this day, in that the temptation is to spend so long debating what you're getting to work out whether it's going to be the right thing, that it either passes the point at which there was a crisis which you were using to justify it procuring in peacetime, or alternatively that crisis has turned into war and you suddenly have a conflict and you can't get it in time. Which possibly suggests that we need to spend less time fighting about what we're getting and more time fighting for what we need to get, i.e. fighting for getting something. Because whatever you have is what you're going to be fighting a war with. Whether it's great or whether it's terrible. That's what you've got to fight the war. We'll see what the turret mechanisms comes up with. Okay. Mark II 9-inch guns. So how has everyone else's week been? Because my week's been tiring, and honestly, most of the videos I've recorded this week I have decided to not use, so I'm re-recording them, which is probably stupid because I spent about 5 hours recording today on 4 videos, topics, and all of them I've gone through and gone, nope, not using that, not using that, not using that. And if you have a lot of okay stuff, it's better to have a few very good stuff. So, yes, it is. Because you lose one of your brilliant, perfect things, you're down quite a large majority. Whereas if you've got, let's say you've got 5 very good versus 20 okay, you lose 2 ships in that scenario. Well, you've still got 23 okay ones versus... Well, let's say you lose 3 okay ones for every 1 perfect one you'd lose. They lose 2 perfect ones. They've lost 40% of the force. You lose 6 okay ones. You haven't even lost... You just lost a little over 20%, not 25%. From your 25 ships. You know, that's the stats. It is similar to the thinking that made the T-55, but honestly it's also different from the thinking that made the T-55. Building 2 ships, including... Well, yeah, you could say it led to the T-55. Well, T-55 wasn't necessarily that bad a tank in its day. And I'd say you have advantages in numbers. Yeah, infrastructure does matter, and trying to explain to people that you need to actually invest in it does occasionally cause fun. They're all researching stuff which is actually valid. Explosives, torpedo size, and mines are going to be the next thing I'm going to be doing. But oh, cruiser design. They'll be getting the emphasis once I'm over these. Because the thing I am missing is I've got the light cruisers, I suppose. And they're 7 months from finishing, so yeah, I'll wait till they're finished before I upgrade my battleship design and start building my Phase 2 battleships. Strange enough, for someone like me, I am not bothering about destroyer design, because so far I've found the early destroyers in this game just aren't worth it. Hello, Leslie. Yeah, it's a thing of, it's a good tank versus a great tank, and if you have a dozen good tanks versus one great tank, then the odds are in the good tank's favour. And that's the whole lesson of World War II, when you consider how many perfect tanks that, you know, various people obsess over. I live in continual flummox over the fact that it's a Tiger Day, but there isn't a Sherman Day. Tiger tanks have this huge cachet and all these things, and yet, honestly, Sherman, that's the winning tank. And you would think there would be a Sherman Day to go with a Tiger Day, but there isn't. It's just there's just a Tiger Day. And I understand why. It's a great marketing exercise, and it gets a lot of people interested, and there's a lot of people already interested in the topic, so it works really well. I am not going to disagree with it. I'm just surprised by it. Hi, Cody, idiot. So, naval prestige, I don't know. I would like an increase in naval funds. I'm going to need to do something. I'm going to have to do that. Okay. But interesting. I guess it's assumed that all the other days in the year are Sherman Day. Yeah, but the thing is, they don't advertise it. They don't have it, and it would be nice to have an actual Sherman Day. Yeah, because instead of so many, it's a good point. But yeah. It's the problem with the Tiger was numbers. I'd have said the problem with the Tiger was logistics, infrastructure, the fact that they decided to go with quite so many bespoke parts, the fact that almost every single batch was different from the preceding batch, the fact that quality control was consistent, but the fact was that continuity control and engineering control was non-existent. The fact that the Tiger, as good as it could have been on paper, suffered from so many different engineers trying to put their own perfect section into it, that no one was going over the whole thing going, you know what? You don't need to do that. Hello, Duke of Petchington. It's basically the basic problem with the Tiger. Pretty much the entire problem with the Tiger is humanity. And it's the humanity that were involved in it. Hello. Milk time. You know, you needed someone sitting over tank design going, do we need to do that? No. Could make it stable. You know, if you just have to look at the road wheels for a good example. Oh my goodness gracious me, that was a bad design choice. I don't know, it's just, yeah. It's the same problem you find with all the Wunder weapons and all the big things the Germans build. They just have so many people who want to be involved in the design of them and take credit for it. And you sit there and go, that isn't what you needed to do. What you needed to do is make sure it works. German tank engineers lost it before the war started. Look at some of their early tanks. Look at the level of complication in some of their lighter, earlier tanks. We don't hear about it as much because they're not as prevalent and because they're stopping, etc. But the thing is, the Panzer IV is really good and easy to maintain. Look at the Panzer III. Look at the Panzer II, the Panzer I. It's complicated. Then they make the Panzer IV, and that's really very good. And that should have been the basis of quite a lot of their tank production. If they had not bothered developing anything else, they just improved on the Panzer IV and just kept working on that, they could have had a good force. But no, they have to go for the Panther and then the Tiger. Let's go to fleet construction. They've got 1 month before they're built. And it was not designed as a general use tank, so it was never going to be war-winning. Yeah. There are many, many problems. And the thing is, it's not as if there aren't good ideas in it. There are good ideas. Just trying to do all those ideas in the same tank is going to cause you trouble. It's just it's just the case. I'm building 10 ships, none of them for me. Which is good, because I'm just about to do something. I'm just about to go into my cruisers and battleships and update them all. And then I'll be ready to fight someone. I can afford our rest to go up a bit more. Okay, we've got the 16-inch torpedoes. So, let's go to ship design. Let's go to view, and let's refit. So, first things first. Nickel steel armor, please. Coincidence. Rangefinder. Can't upgrade the engines yet. Can't upgrade the boilers. The funnels. No, it's plus ends all the way. Do. That should do. Can't do anything better for them, but with rangefinders that is going to make their life a little bit easier. But ideally, I do want to do something to fix their problems. And take that particular problem down as much as I can. So let's exit constructor. Listen, my uncle said he saw a king tiger every day for 2 weeks. It was only after 7 days he realised it was the same one moving between engineers to be fixed. Doesn't surprise me. That should do that. Let's go to ship design. Go to new design. And let's exit the how. Right then. So we now got up to 14,500 tons, which is nice to have. And we can so 25.7%. Now that it's slightly more stable, engine efficiency is not as good as I'd like it to be. Really isn't as good as I'd like it to be. But I have got some more weight I can use for this. So well, that's annoying. But that's okay. So that's a fairly decent looking ship for me. That is a fairly decent looking ship. I'll order 4 of those. So you had the fun of beating on 40 Chinese cruisers with 2 battleships yet? Not yet, but I have done something similar recently. I've been just spending this week, and it's one of the reasons why I didn't do a Friday video, because honestly I was still trying to get used to the campaign again and the feelings of UAD, because it's evolved so much. And build ship. Build, and I'm not going to set where I'm going to set where these are being built. So I'm going to put okay, for some reason it's not allowing me to group select them like I used to. That's annoying. It's not allowing me to select Singapore at all, is it? I think I filled up Singapore. I think I have filled up Singapore. That's annoying, but not entirely unexpected. Let's put these in Kingston. Right then, my monthly balance is now negative 43 million. Hello, Temptress. Thank you for subscribing. Yes, let them do that. I think we're going to have to go back to the research section and the finance section in a second. Control station will be focused on destroyer design. There's nothing else which is in with rage, so there's nothing else I'm going to focus on. Finances. I'm going to take you down to roughly 50% again. I'm going to take you down to roughly 70% again. And that should mean I can keep this going for indefinitely because of the sheer amount of money I have. So, let's go to ship design. Let's go to Brisbane cruisers. Let's view them. Shall we look at these light cruisers and go, what can we do for you? Let's see if we can refit you. Oh, we can refit them. That's good. Upgrade them to nickel steel armor. That makes life a lot easier. Oh, add in mine laying. Yes, want that. Oh, we got the range. Oh, we can upgrade some of the armor. That's good, and the main deck. Oh no, we can't upgrade them any more than we already have. Roll is 65%. That's just terrible. I would not like to be in these vessels in any kind of seaway. I think we'll exit without saving. I think I'm just going to need to start again. So we need another new light cruiser design. The Brisbane class aren't going to cut it. We got decent battleships, but yes, our light cruiser design is weak. Our light cruiser design is frankly terrible. Oh, semi-armoured cruiser. Oh, you're cute. Oh, you I can play with. I can do a lot of things with you. You shall have mine laying capacity, because I am evil. And you will also have minimum draft, because you are apparently terrible. And maximum beam. And 3,500 tons displacement. on that configuration. Thank you. And I'm going to push you up to 21 knots if I can. That's my aim, is to get you to 21 knots. So, first things first, funnels. Well, that's cute. Well, that's not going to help, is it? Well, until I can do forced or better steaming, this is going to be an interesting time. Steel, Citadel 1. We'll see what we can get into these ships. Standard quarters, definitely. Right, let's go for main guns. Ooh, 7-inch. That's not going to help there. What about the 6-inch? Not going to help anywhere. 5-inch, that's just terrible. 4-inch. That looks atrocious. I know these ships can't be made any fatter because of what I've done to them. Case made of guns. Yeah, this is terrible. I mean, that's just not right. And why is it so fore heavy? I've got all the engines towards the back. Let's see if I can move that forward any further forward. Can I move this forward any further forward? Yes, I can. Okay, if I do that, can I add some more main guns on? No, no. Oh, goody. Sorry. Sorry about that sneeze. Not sure where that came from. How inch can we go in there? 6-inch can. Okay. But why can't it go on that side? Why can a 6-inch go on? That's just wrong. Okay. That's just wrong. Right, let's go to the 4-inch. Okay, so we've got 4-inch guns, we've got 3-inch guns all over the place, we've got 7-inch 34s. It's just a mess. Honestly, it's just a mess. 4-weight is just terrible. That's just... Why is this ship's design starting at the beginning, very beginning, as being so completely You think its starting point with any design, especially once it's standard, would be pitch at 25%, roll at 25%, because that's the Sun design. Let's go to the Armoured Cruiser, see what that's to do. That's no better. It's just, that doesn't make sense. Its starting point seems to be, and I'm not sure whether this is the standard UAD or not, that the things are unstable, and that's not the way it should be. And how's that going to fit anything in it? This is just... That's all you can fit in there. What is the point in building that? We're sort of just about getting the battleships into a configurable space where they're useful. But really, concentrating on anything else below battleships is just a fool's errand. It's just, it seems to be, since the, you know, previous to this, if you go and watch on the YouTube, because I got all my previous campaign up, I wouldn't say the smaller ships were anything less than okay. They were fine. They were able to be stabilized. But it now seems that the smaller ships, and even the bigger ships, are really not able to be stabilized until you've got your research up. Until that point, they are absolutely terrible. And that's just not how it was. They weren't great. I'm not going to claim they were the world's best sailing vessels and you wanted to go on a cruise in them. They weren't. But they weren't as bad as this is making out. Okay, and I like Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. It's a great game, but it's now some of the earlier ship designs, the stability matrix seems to have got completely mucked up with the last update. And that's really worrying me with the playing the Austrians, because they don't have the research backing of the British or the Americans to an extent. They don't have the research funding. So how are they supposed to get out of that cycle? How are they supposed to get out of it if they're not? If the only way out of that is to research hulls and just keep researching hulls. This is why I'm not even. You noticed earlier I didn't even put any effort into funding the destroyers. There is no point currently with trying to attempt to destroy us. And one of the things you get in there. Okay, let's go to ship design. New design. Let's go to the destroyer. Right. I want a. Yes, delete that because. New design, hull, torpedo boat. Auto design, right? Even the auto design. Look at it. Engine efficiency, that. Roll, pitch. That's terrible. And that's the auto design. It's a cool looking ship, I do agree. But also, why would you have the gun there? No, no. No, it's a torpedo boat, it's supposed to... It's just... It's just... It's so annoying. Because these ships used to be some really fun part of the game. You can produce something really quite interesting. But that's just not gonna... That doesn't cut it. It just doesn't. I didn't do that to the beam. Take that down to 21 knots. I just... That's now 340 tons out of 300 tons. And it's still... It just... What happened? It just... There's nothing there. It's annoying. It just... Yeah. And I'm not saying they were great, but I'm saying that they were within the margin of error so they would actually work. And the trouble is, when you're looking at stabilities of that level... Oh. It's just, yeah. And it sounds really ranty to be going on about this, but it is really annoying me, because it's taken a great game that I love to play and it's made it as a relaxing thing, and it suddenly made it into a real sort of bit of a chore in the early game, and you're tempted to skip anything from the early game, but there's also the point of view of, if you do that, if you do skip the early game, then you have to actually let them populate your fleet, and then you end up with a fleet of weird ships. And I mean really weird ships. Let's consider the fleet building. They're all roughly 2 years away. They're all normal status, so... there are no ships eligible to be refitted to that sort of... yeah. It's just annoying. Well, I'd like the funds, of course, but, naval prestige at the moment would help more. Would help more. Don't need that to be emphasizing on torpedo tubes. Do need cruiser design and hull strengthening to be emphasized. I don't know what's happened to the game in terms of the ship design. It's not good. Hence my up to 72 hours to get 1917. A third of the time was trying to build ships that work and delete all the rubbish that AI first built up. Yeah, that's why I don't let it do it. I just don't. I just don't. It's just a case of, no. No. That doesn't work for me. No. You can. It's a case of, nope. Improve structural steel. France has failed to get control of Thailand. Oh, that's not good for them. Possibly the French. Now, if I was doing the French, I'd probably just let the AI run it. But nice way, if you ever catch me playing the French in this game, there has been something seriously gone wrong. Because the French in this game are at a massive disadvantage. I mean, the Austro-Hungarians are fun. You want me to send something to embarrass Libya? Oh, I'll send something to Libya. That's the Ottoman Empire. Fairly sure my last meeting was about Libya. It's just, yeah. It's the stability, and the stability calculations are some of the most intricate coding in the game. I do know that. I do understand the level of difficulty that they have going on in that coding. Especially for the early ships. It's a finite balance. But it's also something which you need to get right. Hello, Random Dale fan. Yeah. And so, honestly, I'm not sure whether I'm going to be starting the Austrians again tomorrow, or what I'm going to be doing, because I have to try and figure out how I'm going to how to work within this gameplay earlier in the game. Go to Britain and have a look at who my bad people are. Apparently China, Russia, Germany, unsurprisingly, Austria. But I'm doing. I don't want America going in there as well, so I'm going to have to improve relations with them. And I should soon have 24 battleships. Let's do that then. You're not worried about China sinking Singapore. Let's see. Well, Indonesia is an ally, and I'm reinforcing Indonesia to the nth degree. So that's going to make America upset. That's controlled by Netherlands. That's Indonesia itself. And in Singapore, I have 3 battleships and 3 light cruisers. And basically, I'm planning on moving the light cruisers to a different port, because the light cruisers don't really help me. I'm tempted to send them all the way down to Darwin, but I won't do that. Let's take the high road. Engines, hull construction is all better. Hull protection might help us with the stability. Might help us with the stability. It should do, because it's like things, if you're putting in torpedo bulges and torpedo defences, that's going to put weight inside your hull. So it should help. Oh, lovely. Oh, white powder, definitely want to rush that. And what are we working on with them? Common pointed capped researching. Ooh, that'll be useful when it comes in. But what are we doing with engines? Triple expansion steam engines. Oh, thank the Lord. Lubber duck, I will be so happy with these ships when they come into service. I'm going to start refitting ships dramatically quickly. Triple expansion steam engines everywhere. Every single one of my ships is going to get triple expansion steam engines, and if I can up their speed, yes. Costa Rica. Do I have any ships in the region? I should have some ships, but yeah. I think the easiest thing to do is to go to Plymouth, move ships, and send all three of them down. And then let's go to ship design. And let's go to this. And let's go to view. Let's go to engines. All right. That'll do. And let's go to gun cotton for that. White powder's not come in, has it? But everything else is useful, so yeah, frankly I'm going for this one. Any better armors? No. So right, that should help. The now stability is now down. Stability is now down where it needs to be. Yay. So basically, once you've got triple expansion engines, stability seems to work. So, is it a calculation in the basic steam engine? That would be really interesting if it's the basic steam engine which is causing some of the issues. So that's taken that weight down. Let's see, anything else we want to do? Yeah. Let's take that down to 19. Oh! Engine efficiency is at 99%, but I'm going to leave that because 99% is fine. And let's up the inner deck in the Citadel armor to something worthwhile having. Two inches of armor. Ooh, that'll do. Main belt being upped up to 12.6. That's fine. That's looking like a good design now. Yeah, white powder's better than black powder. It's more efficient. It also helps with... There are no ships of that type to refit. See, new design. Let's go to the cruiser and see if we can build something again this time which actually works. Cruiser. Triple expansion engine. Induced. 7 1/4. Well, that should be better than the previous one. We better by enough, will it? Still... massively over that. Yeah, still terrible. Absolutely terrible. I agree, Paul. I think it's... I'm not sure I've said this already, but I think I'm going to have to just tech everything up. So, these ships aren't really that useful for anything, but they will make up the tonnage, and they will get there quite quickly. So we're sending them. Cody, I don't tend to use the semi-armor hulls myself either. I can understand not using them. But they're not that bad. The thing is, the basic thing naval architects worked on with hulls was stability. Yay, I have smokeless white powder. I'm building 22 ships for other people and 12 for myself at the moment. And those 12, when they're built, will be immediately updated to basically through first Irresistible Batch 2 and maybe even Irresistible Batch 3, depending on the tech that comes through. Irresistible class will be far better than any of my other classes in service, and they'll be more reliable. Yeah. Anyway. I've just noticed 9:30, and out of clue, on the queue, I've received a message to remind me that I haven't had any food today, and am I going to sort myself out with something? So I better go in. Hey. I don't know. Yes, and please note, forgetting to eat is a normal thing when you're trying to work in my case. But, yeah. It's a good job I don't sleep much, otherwise I would never have been able to do all this. But, yeah. I've been working through trying to get this sort of worked out and all sorts of things. So I've got a decent fleet, and tomorrow I'll probably ask people if they want me to continue the British one, which I'm basically using as a testbed to work out what the frigate is going on with the system. Or if I should use the can try and rectify the Austro-Hungarian with what I've learnt this week. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. And thank you, Penguins. Are you going to build the R-Class eventually? But yes, it's food time. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Let's save this. Make sure it's saved. Save. And thank you very much, everyone. Take care. Thank you for tuning in and watching when I've been trying to figure stuff out. Toodles. Thank you, Leslie, and thank you, Cody. Thank you, Garsman. Thank you, Random. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everyone who's been watching. Take care. Have a nice evening.